what's interesting about changing your career is when you're coding on the side, there's no pressure. When you're coding at a boot camp, there's a bit more pressure because you paid to be here. It's a full-time course, and your expectation is to get a job. Now, when you code for work now, you're getting paid to do this now. How does it feel to make that transition to paying to code, now being paid to code? Like, how does that transition feel for you as an entry-level developer?
To be honest, at the very beginning of starting my first ever role, imposter syndrome hit me so hard. Like, because everyone around me was so much more experienced than I was. And it was like, there is no structure anymore to your learning. In terms of, not saying that like the company doesn't provide any training or whatever, not that, but just in a coding school, a coding boot camp, you know exactly what's ahead of you, right? So we know that there are 15 weeks, 5 modules, and every week we'll learn something, and it's like planned out. You can see it, you paid for it, and you know what you're going to have at the end of it. But in a company setting, your learning, of course, is based on what you're interested in, but it's also based on the company's needs. So for example, if the company doesn't use React, they use Next.js, for example, or they use Angular, your previous experience might not be required in this new role. And actually, I think the great thing about a coding bootcamp is that it really trains you, and Flatiron School really trained me to rethink how I view learning, because the end goal is not to learn it all. It's not to know everything. Like, it really taught me that the mindset that I really had to have was that if I don't know something, it's okay. I can learn it. And there's not ever going to be a point where I know everything. And that's completely okay, because that's why we need a team of people. That's why we need people in tech who focus in different niches, because together we build things together, right? And so whenever I first moved from a coding bootcamp to an actual job, instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to know everything, I have to learn everything in order to deliver, it was more like, okay, so how can I try and fill in the gaps where there are gaps? How can I try and take on small projects in order to build up my confidence? How can I shadow some of my fellow colleagues? How can I do pair programming so that I learn how to solve the same issue with a different solution? Like, all these kind of things that really push you to be a good member of your team and to really make sure that you're contributing. So yeah.
That is an excellent point, because the one thing we say it, but I guess we don't say it enough. I'll say with Flatiron School is we teach you how to code, how to do design, data science, cybersecurity, 100%. But the real thing that we're teaching you is how to learn. And once you come to Flatiron School, what you're actually doing is you're kind of making a contract with yourself that from this point on, I am going to be a lifelong learner. I am learning for the rest of my life. And this is going to be the place where I lay the foundation and learn the fundamentals of how to learn difficult material. And once you lay that foundation down, it's my belief that you can pretty much build anything on top of that.
Yeah. 100%.
100%.